consultant or go to angioprim.com for help. Call Angioprim toll-free at 877-882-7221. That's Angioprim at 877-882-7221. Get the facts about Angioprim. Begin living the life you want, doing the things you used to do again with Angioprim.
Talk 1470, WWNN Pompano Beach, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
AM 1470, WNN, with more of what you need to know. Don't miss Barry's Supplement Hour, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 11 a.m. and Tuesdays at noon on South Florida's Health and Wealth Network, AM 1470, WNN.
Hi, I'm Dr. Janae Lomaski, a licensed psychologist practicing for 15 years here in South Florida. The universal problem I've encountered in both couple and individual therapy is the lack of self-esteem. Many relationships and families today are like a pressure cooker. People desperately trying to communicate but unable to do so, creating a cycle of anger that makes communication impossible. My goal in therapy is to help people identify the obstacles that have them talking at each other, not to each other. If you've spent your life in pain and suffering, it doesn't have to be like that. Call me and we'll talk. 561-777-2021. I accept Medicare and TRICARE. Once again, the number is 561-777-2021.
This is Talk 1470.
Talk 1470.
WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to The Gift of Life with Gregg. I'm your host, Gregg Francis, and I'm joined today by my co-hosts, Barry Kaplan and Leora Lieberman. We save lives, plain and simple. Have you known someone stricken with leukemia? Has a family member of yours suffered from lymphoma? Then turn up your dial. This show is for you. We are the gift providing a second life. We are the gift of life. Since 1999, we saved over 2,700 lives. For many patients with blood cancer, bone marrow donation is often their last hope, and that's where we come in. We try hard at what we do, but we will never be satisfied until we can say, one day, we found a match anytime, anywhere, for anyone. That's the Gift of Life way. So now we have the scissors, we've opened the box, and now it's time to unwrap the Gift of Life. Hello everyone, and welcome to our fourth show.
Hi everyone.
I can't believe it's been 4 already. It's gone so quickly. And for those listeners in our audience this evening who tuned in last week, welcome on back. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, we're really glad that you're joining our Gift of Life family with Gregg. We broadcast live from Boca Raton, Florida, every Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. right here on WNN 1470. Now, before the show today, we found out that we're the '1 bone marrow radio show in the world. Not in Florida, not in the United States, in the world.
Woo! How do you like that?
We couldn't believe it.
Wow!
For those of you who tuned in last week, for those of you who called in, or for those of you who may have donated to our donor circle called the show, very easy, we really thank you. We had a little girl named Sammy on our show last week, the little firecracker who dances in a pink tutu, who loves riding her four-wheeler, who likes taking care of her animals who we're going to see tomorrow, and who was about to get her ears pierced last week with little diamonds, but who also happens to have a fatal illness, Fanconi anemia. We saw last week how wonderful she is, but we also saw firsthand how desperately she needs our help. Thank you, listeners, for being a part in attempting to save Sammy's life. This week is sure to be a great show as well. So let's get the party started. If you're joining us for the first time, I'm Gregg Francis. Welcome aboard. We encourage our listeners to call into our show at any time, number being 1-888-562-9399. 1-888-565-1470. Again, that's 1-888-565-1470. And if you're inspired by what we do, if we motivate you to celebrate life, we want to hear it, so please give us a call. Along with my co-host, L Squared Leora Lieberman,
Hey.
and BK Barry Kaplan, we are here to spread awareness about the Gift of Life Bone Marrow Foundation, a life-saving nonprofit that gives patients a second chance at life. We want to remind everyone of how special life is and how every day of health and happiness is a true gift of life. Now, I don't know how many football fans are listening. I believe quite a few, since we're the #1 rated bone marrow show in the United States, in the world for that matter. David Wilson, who was a first-round draft pick, he was a running back of the New York Giants, was told yesterday by 2 doctors that his NFL career is over at the young age of 23.
Wow.
Yeah, due to a risk of paralysis. And you know, you train something your whole life. And you're told in a split second at 23, which is a relatively young age, that your professional career in football is over. But his quote was, "I'm in a good place." Now, that's the attitude that we love people to take. Am I upset for him that his career is over? The answer is absolutely yes. He was a phenomenal talent in college. He started off, well in the pros, young age. But I'm also blessed that the doctors gave him the wherewithal to stop playing so he doesn't walk away paralyzed. And you want to know something? Those are the little things. If you could walk every day, if you could talk, if you could smile, if you could see, if you could hear, I want to echo his sentiment. We're all in a good place.
I'm sorry, Gregg, could you repeat his name for me? What, David Wilson?
Yeah, David Wilson.
Is that David Wilson of VTech, Virginia Tech?
Yeah, that's David Wilson, the first-round pick of Virginia Tech.
Wow. That is so weird, so crazy.
Why is it weird?
This is going to sound ridiculous. My best friend Joel, he roomed with David Wilson in college at VA Tech. Yeah.
Wait, are you sure it's
David Wilson? It's David Wilson of Virginia Tech, right?
Yeah, he was the first-round pick. Yeah, he was told yesterday, unfortunately, that his career is over, but fortunately, he's going to live a fruitful life. He's only 23.
You know what? My friend Joel told me that he roomed with David Wilson, and he wouldn't stop going on about how much of a mensch this guy was.
Wow.
I couldn't get over it because I don't know a lick about any of that. What is that, football?
He plays NFL for the
Giants
for
are
the
football.
I guess it's evident that you don't know that much about sports.
But I remember that one name because it's 2 first names, David Wilson. So I was like, that clicked. What a small world! I can't even believe that.
Wow.
No, I mean, what a small world. But again, I'm real happy that he's going to be fine, and we wish him all the best, and we wish him a fruitful career, and we want to thank him for the memories of the Giants. Before I go any further, though, as I like to start every show, I have to thank my own gifts of life, people who are my daily reminders of how lucky I am. So I'd like to say a special shout out to my mom, Katie, who's listening in Lake Worth.
Hi, Katie.
Mom, I love you. My mother-in-law, Margie, my biggest fan in Maryland. Grandma Margie, I hope that this show is one of your favorites. And the loves of my lives, my 2 boys, Nicholas and Patrick. I'm going to see you real soon, kids. They're 11 and 7 years old. I'd also today like to make a heartfelt shout out to my friends Jack and Jay Feinberg. We're certainly thinking of you. I want to say hello to Dondre on the other side of the glass. This is his first show, so let's give it up for him.
Woo!
Let's make it a good one.
Thanks for helping out today, Dondre.
And let me introduce my 2 co-hosts, and dare I say my friends, BK Barry Kaplan and L Squared Leora Lieberman.
Hey, it's Barry K. It's nice to be with you guys today. I'm a recent graduate from Skidmore College. I studied business at Skidmore. I also wrote at Skidmore. Fun fact. And I work at Gift of Life in the business development department, and I started interning for Gift of Life about a couple summers ago, and this past summer I decided to join full-time, and here I am doing business development with Gift of Life.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So I guess I kind of followed in BK's footsteps, becoming the next summer intern, filling big shoes there. So hi, I'm Leora Lieberman, and I'm really excited to join you all for the show today. I'm back from Gainesville. I had to go up there for a few days and move into my new place. So I actually graduated from the University of Florida. You may be wondering, well, then why is she going up there? Well, I'm actually starting my master's in public health, and then afterwards I'm hopefully going to medical school. Fingers crossed. Applications are all in, so hopefully that all goes well. So yeah, that's me.
All right, no, it's good to have you on board, BK and Leora. Leora, you're going to get into medical school. Bill and Myra, if you're listening, those are her parents. She's great. She's going to get into med school. And if you tuned in with us before, you're familiar with how Gift of Life started. And we're proud every day because we're not going to rest until we save somebody anytime, anywhere, for anyone. And tomorrow is a great example of this. We're going across the state to meet our little friend Sammy.
We are, actually. So for everyone who tuned in last week, I'm sure you heard that special show that we had. We had a little girl named Sammy on our show who was so cute, and she spoke about her animals that she had. I think she said she had 30 chickens. She had 30 chickens. She told us about her little four-wheeler, and she had all these stickers on it. And we talked about Shrek, and we talked about the donkey, and we talked about, as Gregg said, Sammy getting her ears pierced with little diamonds. She even said that she liked her little diamonds more than she liked her mom's hoops. So we're diamond fans too. And Sammy was saying that throughout the experience, throughout, anticipating getting her ears pierced, that she was a really, really brave girl.
And you want to know something? Why she's brave? A lot of us take for granted. It was tough for her to hear us last week on the interview. The little girl's hearing is compromised, so if she said what a few times or we had to repeat ourselves, the little girl is doing everything that she could. And it's harder to hear for her than it is probably for everybody else listening in our audience. So she's a little trooper. She's a little hero.
Right, she is. And so for everyone who maybe didn't hear us last week, the reason why she's hard of hearing is because Sammy was diagnosed with something called Fanconi anemia. So actually, after hearing our radio show live on air, and then also afterwards when it's played online, Sammy's Aunt Holly, who happened to be in the same sorority as me in college, actually contacted Gregg and I from all of our advertisements. And Holly told me over our correspondence that her niece, Sammy, was sick. And that not too long ago, Sammy's mom noticed that Sammy's hearing wasn't quite right, as we just said, and that Sammy needed to strain just to hear normal sounds that every day we hear correctly. She was having trouble hearing those things. And Holly also told us that at 6 years old, Sammy only weighs 10 pounds more than her baby little brother. So if you can imagine that, her baby brother is
18 months.
Yeah, very young. And can you imagine a 6-year-old, an 18-month-old and a 6-year-old weighing almost the same weight? So her mom knew that something was wrong, and so her mom took her to the doctor, and her family was given the news that Sammy was diagnosed with Fanconi anemia, which is this fatal inherited disorder that unfortunately and inevitably about 90% of the time the person has bone marrow failure, which is often a very life-threatening thing.
Really what happens is her disease will develop into a more serious anemia or even leukemia.
Exactly.
That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
But it's more treatable before the age of 10 years old. And right now she's 6. So if people felt compelled by the cause, we have Anita and Joel again this week at our phones at 1-800-9-MARROW at our Gift of Life. 1-800-9-MARROW. And for those that like things numerically, myself included, it's 1-800-962-7769.
Exactly. So please call in again if you have any questions or if you want to help us save Sammy's life. So, as I was saying before, so when anyone ever really thinks of anemia, they think of just a low blood cell count. But Sammy actually has something called aplastic anemia, where some of her bones don't create blood cells at all. So this causes Sammy to have a lot of complications in many of her organs, because without these essential cells being made, her body and her organs can't get the oxygen it needs. For her white blood cells, her body can't protect itself from any of those outside germs and ugly germs that come into her body. She can't protect herself. So it's what she has is something very serious, but even though it's fatal, it is treatable. And that's something we really want to get across. Even though she has this fatal illness, it is treatable. And her family tells us all the time, we don't want you to feel sorry for her. We don't want you to pity her. We really want everyone to join in the cause and really, really help us save her life.
Leora, how do we treat this anemia?
Okay, so as I said before, it is treatable, but unfortunately, in the long term, it's only treatable with a bone marrow transplant. So because of Sammy's unique heritage and because of her unique heritage in the entire world, there's about 24 million people in the international bone marrow registries. Not even one of them is a match for her. Which I know for everyone out there, 24 million is a lot of people. And you would think, there has to be at least one person in there. But unfortunately, not even one is a match for Sammy. So this is why Holly came to us. And this is why Sammy needs our help. Because she needs everyone out there to help her.
And as I said before, we're not professional DJs. We're just trying to put this out on a platform, and the show works. That's why we make the challenge every week. If you're listening, we have kits on our shelves at 800 Yamato Road in Boca Raton that Barry said last week he guarantees will save a life. And if it's not Sammy's, it'll be somebody else. So for $60, just to forego a cup of coffee, we promise you that a life could be saved. We have about 3,000 high availability donors right now that if we could get tested, will probably save, 3 lives, Barry, by your calculations?
Yeah, the statistical model that I ran, it's about 3. But let's really take a step back here and look at the big picture. You were talking about foregoing your cup of coffee. A Frappuccino at Starbucks, you're going to pay $5 for that thing. $5.
And some people get it every morning.
Some people get it every morning. So if you get a Frappuccino, $5 every morning, you're talking about 12 days of no Frappuccino. Now, I'm putting some weight on myself, so that's actually a really good equation for me, because my wallet's breaking. Forget my wallet, my belt is breaking. But I can guarantee you that it's 12 days of no Frappuccinos. You can help. It's as easy as that.
And as we mentioned last week, we have a board member that wants to be kept in anonymity, but he's going to match any financial contribution dollar for dollar that you make. So if you send in $60 to get a kit tested, it'll be like getting 2 kits tested.
And I want to kind of jump on top of that, Greg. Gift of Life doesn't receive any government funding. We do not receive any government funding, so that means we need your help even more than what is normal. We want you to engage and come out. Give us a call, 1-800-9-MARROW, tour the office, get involved, see what we do. You can volunteer, you can decide to contribute monetary resources, whatever you can to help. We would love it if you could come out.
It's true. And so tomorrow, actually, like we said before, we're going to visit Sammy at her home, and we're going to, after corresponding with Holly and after getting to know their family a little bit more, her mom Cindy, we really felt like we would really make the family feel comfortable and feel at home, and we want to make them feel as comfortable and as steady with this process as possible. So we're actually going to visit them tomorrow, and we're really excited to meet them. We're really excited to meet her. So
that's right, Leora. If you're interested in learning more about what we do, if you're located in the South Florida area, we invite you to come take a tour of our headquarters. Come set up a meeting with any one of us. Ask for Greg, ask for myself, ask for Leora. I happen to love this great sub place that's down the street. We'll discuss them later, probably later in the show. It's an amazing sub place.
We might go get a sub after the show.
We might actually go there after the show and get a sub. If you're not local to the area, we'll take you out and get you some lunch. It's amazing Italian bread, great Italian sandwiches. There's so many different ways for you to get involved. Every year we run over 1,000 registration drives all over the country on college campuses, summer camps, organizational events, synagogues, churches, you name it. You can rent a drive if you like. It's that easy. Or you can donate with a click of a keyboard, with a click of a button, with a swipe of a mouse, with the lead of a pencil. It is that easy. Greg, you want to tell them where to go to donate?
Yeah, well, you gave them 5 different choices, but I'll certainly tell you where to go. So listeners, if you'd like to donate, here's how, and we'll go over the 5 reasons that Barry just mentioned. But if calling is your thing, you could call us at 1-800-9-MARROW. Again, that's 1-800-9-MARROW, or 1-800-962-7769. If you're more of a handwriter, and my penmanship is getting a little bit better, and snail mail is more your thing, you can mail us your donations at 800 Yamato Road, Suite 101, Boca Raton, Florida, and put on it, "Attention, the show." Or if you're a person that's internet savvy, and I'm going to take 1 second for you to get a pen, it's www.giftoflife.org/DC/the show, and donate directly to our donor circle. When you arrive at that page, click the red button that says Give in the upper right-hand corner, and you'll be on your way to hopefully saving Sammy's life.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break. Before we do, I want to give you a quick preview. We have some trivia question, a trivia question coming up. We have an event that we want to talk about. We have a couple more things coming up in a little bit, but first let's take that quick commercial break.
ThrowItBetter.com. Do you need help with your bowling game? Are you taking the right 5-step approach? If you want to become a competitive bowler, even a recreational bowler that's considering joining a league, or a league bowler that's considering joining a tournament, you need to see Vince. He's going to show you how to throw it better. He'll get you the right equipment, he'll show you the right approach, and as a certified coach himself, he'll put you in the best position to succeed. If you're interested, please visit Vince at throwitbetter.com and tell him that Greg sent you. Again, that's www.throwitbetter.com. If you own a business and have the need for commercial insurance, I suggest you call Chris Moore of Brown & Brown Insurance in Fort Lauderdale. Chris has been in the commercial insurance business for over 30 years and can handle any company's need for property, general liability, workers' compensation, and automobile, just to name a few. Brown & Brown, being countrywide and the 5th largest agency in the country, gives Chris the tools he needs to meet all your insurance needs. So call Chris at 954-331-1420. Again, that's 954-331-1420. We want to extend a special thanks to our friends at the Boca West Foundation for all the wonderful work they do for Gift of Life and for all the meaningful service they give to the Boca Raton community. For over 3 years, the Boca West Foundation has generously supported local charities in the Boca Raton area. The Boca West Foundation. It's all about the kids. Are you in the market for a health plan? If so, please visit my good friend Gary at Health Plans Unlimited. No plan is too big or too small. Gary will customize a plan that's affordable and comprehensive, just for you. If you're interested, please visit Gary Goldman, the best in the biz, at www.healthplansunlimited.com. Again, that's www.healthplansunlimited.com. Or you can call Gary Goldman directly on his personal line at 954-303-6676. Again, that's 954-303-6676. 303-6676 and tell him that Gregg sent you directly from the Gift of Life. Health Plans Unlimited. We have the health plan for you.
Interested in being part of Mission Possible?
Dun, 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 dun.
On Saturday night, August 9th, at the Blue Martini in Boca Raton, come listen to a donor and recipient's experience and how Gift of Life truly saves lives. Don't miss the opportunity to be part of Boca Chambers Festival Days and get your photo taken with Sean Connery lookalike John Allen, Palm Beach's very own 007 Sean Connery impersonator, and savor premium libations and culinary delights in only the most covert manner. Please call Jenna at 1-800-9-MARROW. Again, please call Jenna at 1-800-9-MARROW.
Welcome back to the Gift of Life with Gregg, the show that talks about giving and receiving. I'm your co-host, Leora Lieberman, and I'm here with my host, Gregg Francis, and co-host, Barry Kaplan. If you'd like to call into our show, we'd love to hear from you. Please call 888-565-1470. Again, that's 888-565-1470. And now, back to our show.
Hello, this is Barry Kaplan. Hey, it's Barry K. Welcome to the Gift of Life with Gregg. I just want to give our listeners out there a recap. I was talking a little bit earlier. My best friend Joel was roommate with David Wilson, right?
Yes, of the first round pick of the New York Giants.
I got a text during the break. You're going to laugh at me so hard, Gregg. It wasn't David Wilson that my friend Joel roomed with. It was Wilson Dovid, the head of the Hillel House.
Oh, yeah. It's very easy to mix up the two of the top running back of Virginia Tech.
They're both first names, so it was a hard one. Let's.
but you were convinced, so he didn't room with David Wilson, the first round pick. I figured he might have said something yesterday, but I didn't want to argue with you, BK.
It was Wilson Dovid. I don't blame you for not wanting to argue with me. We got a call, so let's take some calls. I believe we have a call. Danielle. Danielle, you're on the air.
Hi.
Hi, Danielle. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Barry Kaplan's great, actually.
Well, I was just wondering, I went to college in North Florida, and I saw you guys on campus, so I swabbed, but I just want to know what else I could do to help.
That is a great question, Danielle. You swabbed and joined the registry. I wanted to personally thank you for that. Joining the registry is an amazing thing that I think everyone should do, unless you're not fit. But what else can you do? Great question. Visit our website. Go to www.giftoflife.org. You can check out all of our drives, our regional drives, and volunteer and run a drive. What else can she do, Gregg?
Danielle, this is Gregg. Thank you for calling into our show. What year are you in university?
I just graduated.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations.
Congrats, Danielle.
Thank you.
Well, if you still have, were you in any groups at your respective university?
I was in a sorority.
Okay, with your sorority leaders, because every year people graduate and every year new people come in, so maybe call us at 1-800-9-MARROW, ask to speak to Bridget on how you could run a drive with people that haven't been swabbed yet.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
No, thank you. We appreciate your calling in. And again, anything in which you feel that we could help, we help with the marketing, we help with the training. If you believe that you can make a difference on campus, we certainly want to get this drive going. So again, it's 1-800-9-MARROW, and please ask for Bridget.
Will do. Thank you for your amazing work.
No, thank you.
Thanks for calling, Danielle.
Of course.
All right. Well, that's a great call. Gregg, I want to take a little a segue. We had hundreds and hundreds of people calling in trying to answer that trivia question that we asked last episode. Unfortunately, we didn't elicit a correct answer.
Really?
Unfortunately, no correct answers.
It was a bit of a trick question. I was surprised at the amount of people that actually called in, and most of them all had the same answer. I think that Freddie, who's not here today, said that we had about 220 calls, and about 218 of them had the same answer, which was incorrect. So I think that we have to take it a little bit easier this week. And Leora, could you tell them what they'll win?
Sure. So we actually have an amazing event this weekend called Bond With Us. And if you can answer our trivia question, you could get 2 free tickets to our event. So you should call in and try to get those 2 free tickets.
So here's the trivia question. Here it is. Name one of the famous cars that James Bond drives. Again, name one of the recognizable brand name cars that James Bond drives. I'll give you a hint. It's not a Mitsubishi.
Well, wow, that really narrowed it down, and maybe Wilson David or David Wilson will call in to or whoever you're going to call up to. But thanks for giving that great hint, BK. So, but we do want to say if you do win, it's this Saturday, and you could libate at Blue Martini, Glades Road in Boca. And if you're interested also in coming and you don't win the 2 free tickets, you're still welcome to come. Please give Jenna a call at 1-800-9-MARROW, and she'll let you know how to purchase tickets. So we have a lot of people at 800 Yamato Road waiting for your calls.
You know, I've been to this Blue Martini, Greg. It is a swell place. It is a fun place, and you know, it's a 6 p.m. You know, a Saturday night at a Blue Martini. I can't think of anything more exciting.
No, it's going to be a fun show. You're going to have a great time, and it's for a good cause.
I couldn't agree more. So now I think we're going to switch gears, and let's talk a little bit about some of the common myths that are associated with donating bone marrow.
Exactly. So I first heard about the Gift of Life Bone Marrow Foundation at school when I helped run a drive, and we were stationed in the middle of campus. I don't know if anyone's familiar with University of Florida, but we were stationed in the middle of campus at Turlington Plaza. So we were at Turlington, and thousands of people walk through Turlington every single day, and people would come up to me and they'd say, you know what, I heard that, you know, donating bone marrow is really, really painful. And I would say I would have to debunk this myth because it's actually not. And BK is going to tell us actually what the truth is.
The question being, is bone marrow donation painful? Is it? Greg, you told me a story of one time you played soccer when you were in high school, college.
Yes.
Right? You told me this story, and I couldn't believe it when you told me. I refused to believe it. I still don't really believe it. You told me the story that you were a striker.
Yes.
You broke your toe while playing soccer. And instead of saying, hey, I'm going to take a step back, I'm not going to play soccer anymore and injure myself anymore, you said, no, I'm going to tape up my foot, and I'm going to keep playing the game. Is this correct?
Yeah, it's correct. And my dad, may he rest in peace, didn't think it was my brightest move, but nonetheless, he was very proud of me for gutting it out.
So how far in did you get that injury?
No, I got it the day before in a training session, but I had to play the next day. The game went on. I ended up scoring a goal, was in a lot of pain, but you put it outside your head, and you want to know something? I guarantee you that a bone marrow donation is not as painful as playing 90 minutes with a broken toe on your dominant foot.
I can't even imagine. I can say this, though. The people that have spoken to me about donating marrow, the people who have actually donated, I asked them, is it all that painful? We had Nick on the other day. This was Nick's response. No, it's not that painful. It's as similar as falling on your rump.
Yeah, you did his voice quite well there.
Oh, thank you. So let's take a call. Karen, you're on the air. Karen.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
Hi, Karen. How are you?
Hey, Karen, welcome to the show.
Thank you. How are you?
We're doing great. We're getting a lot of calls today, so something must be working well. Where are you located, Karen?
I just have a couple of questions.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I asked a few times because I can't really hear where I am, but I'm starting St. John's Law School in the fall, and I was wondering what I can do to help out there on campus.
Well, I'll tell you what you can do, Karen. One thing that we really encourage students and people our age, and I'm assuming that you're my age because you're going to law school, but us younger folks, what we encourage our generation to do is run bone marrow drives on their campus. And Leora, you've done that before, haven't you?
I have actually. I went to University of Florida, had a great experience, and one of the great things about UF was that there were so many people there. So you have this opportunity to get so many different people from so many different backgrounds into our registry, which is why we like to swab on college campuses, not only for the age, but for the great diversity that's at college campuses. It's easy access to people. They're walking to and from class. They're, just strolling about their days, and so it's a really great epicenter of donors that we really try to go after.
And go ahead, Greg.
No, I was going to say that's a great word. Firstly, Leora, what type of law are you considering practicing?
I'm actually not sure yet. I'm just going into my first year, so I'm going to take all of the general courses, but potentially human rights law, or I don't know. I'll figure it out.
No, that's fantastic. I was going to say if you interned for a summer at Gift of Life, you probably wouldn't go to law school, but because that's a common theme. So to further your law career, we hope that you get involved with Gift of Life that way by running a drive with your law school peers or with any other undergraduate or graduate students.
Okay, thank you so much. And how do you suggest I go about promoting it on that campus since I'm new and I don't really have friends there yet?
Well, you can promote it. So what we really try to encourage for people who are just like you, who are on a new campus, or like you, they're starting their first year, what we really try to encourage is reaching out to organizations that maybe are on campus that have done a drive with us before, or if they haven't, reaching out to several pre-health organizations. A lot of organizations on campus will be familiar with the pre-health process, or since you're at St. John's, going to your student union and just asking about, a lot of schools have an activity center, so really seeking the help of people who are already involved in student affairs, and they should have the volunteers to help you.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I think you answered all my questions.
And good luck with the Red Storm.
Thank you so much. I'll leave it.
Bye.
Bye, Karen. Thanks for the call. So we were talking, before we took that call, we were talking about this myth, this really false myth, actually, that donating bone marrow is very, very painful.
Right.
We see this all the time in pop culture. We see people screaming, people getting very, having very bad reactions, and that is farther from the truth.
I don't want to diminish that there's no pain at all, because there's a pain involved, as Nick said, falling on your rump, but what I do want to bring to light, that it's not as magnified as what people believe.
Exactly, and to further that point, this whole idea of having the bone marrow extracted from your body, that only happens 20% of the time, actually. 80% of the time, it's the same procedure as donating platelets. Isn't that right, Leora?
That is exactly right. 80% of the time, what happens is they'll stick a needle in one arm, a needle in the other arm, and the blood will be filtered through something called an apheresis machine, and it just gets filtered out. So it's almost just like you're giving blood. And of course, there is minimal pain involved, and some people experience pain, but it's nothing to write home about. It's nothing that will prevent you from going about your normal activities in a day or two.
And you're going to get some good cookies and juice to make yourself feel better.
There you go. So that's the first myth. I think we've shot that one down sufficiently. Don't you agree, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the biggest thing, 80% of the time you're giving platelets.
And another thing what I always like to keep in my head is, even though this might be somewhat of a painful process, as we were saying before, it might feel like you fell down, you have a little bit of a bruise, or you might have a little pain where they stuck in the needle. I always try to think there's a patient on the other side who is in a lot of pain and whose life is in grave danger of not being there anymore. And I always try to think of that person and how much pain they're going through.
It brings us back to our first show. Nick had pain for 3 days. Nick Hudson, who's a hero of mine. At the time, there was a 4.5-year-old little boy who was on the show the first week. His name is Cam. So Nick said that it pales in comparison to what Cam is doing. So he told me that he was shooting his jump shot. He likes basketball. About 4 days later, 5 years later, Cam is at summer camp eating ice cream. So if you think about the small pain for saving somebody's life, and in this case it was a 4.5-year-old boy, and now he's 10 and living life to the fullest, is there really that much pain involved?
I don't think you can quantify it when you compare it like that. I want to talk a little bit more about Cam because I read up about him a little bit more after we interviewed him, and he has actually a very interesting story. When he was being treated, the nurses and the doctors over in Boston where he's being treated, they were flabbergasted. They were amazed. They couldn't believe their eyes. This little boy had such a good attitude. And the way that he dealt with his treatment, it was all positive. It was all very, very positive, and I was amazed. And they came up with a nickname for him, the doctors and the nurses. They called him Super Cam. So I thought, I just, my face lit up when I heard that, because Cam is a superhero, and he's a hero, Nick's a hero, and I just can't get over them.
No, I completely agree, and I think, again, like I was saying before, whenever I'm worried about, when I hear people worried about, being in pain afterwards, and if that's the one barrier that's going to prevent them from donating, I always think, well, what's on the other side, and where is the patient? What is the patient feeling? And if we have to be in a little bit of pain for a few days, it's worth it because there's someone whose life we're saving. So it's
Exactly, Leora. I could not emphasize that more. So right now we're talking about common myths associated with bone marrow donation. We have a couple more myths for our audience and for our listeners. We think you'll get a kick out of them. But until...
So a few personal anecdotes.
Anecdotes, as Leora puts it. Before we get to that, though, we got to take a quick commercial break. Stick with us, though. First, we're going to have a few words from our sponsors.
Are you in the market for a health plan? If so, please visit my good friend Gary at Health Plans Unlimited. No plan is too big or too small. Gary will customize a plan that's affordable and comprehensive, just for you. If you're interested, please visit Gary Goldman, the best in the biz, at www.healthplansunlimited.com. Again, that's www.healthplansunlimited.com. Or you can call Gary Goldman directly on his personal line at 954-303-6676. Again, that's 954-303-6676. And tell him that Gregg sent you directly from the Gift of Life. Health Plans Unlimited. We have the health plan for you. ThrowItBetter.com. Do you need help with your bowling game? Are you taking the right 5-step approach? If you want to become a competitive bowler, even a recreational bowler that's considering joining a league, or a league bowler that's considering joining a tournament, you need to see Vince. He's going to show you how to throw it better. He'll get you the right equipment, he'll show you the right approach, and as a certified coach himself, he'll put you in the best position to succeed. If you're interested, please visit Vince at throwitbetter.com and tell him that Gregg sent you. Again, that's www.throwitbetter.com. If you own a business and have the need for commercial insurance, I suggest you call Chris Moore of Brown & Brown Insurance in Fort Lauderdale. Chris has been in the commercial insurance business for over 30 years and can handle any company's need for property, general liability, workers' compensation, and automobile, just to name a few. Brown & Brown, being countrywide and the 5th largest agency in the country, gives Chris the tools he needs to meet all your insurance needs. So call Chris at 954-331-1420. Again, that's 954-331-1420. We want to extend a special thanks to our friends at the Boca West Foundation for all the wonderful work they do for Gift of Life and for all the meaningful service they give to the Boca Raton community. For over 3 years, the Boca West Foundation has generously supported local charities in the Boca Raton area. The Boca West Foundation. It's all about the kids.
Interested in being part of Mission Possible?
Dun, 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 dun.
On Saturday night, August 9th, at the Blue Martini in Boca Raton, come listen to a donor and recipient's experience and how Gift of Life truly saves lives. Don't miss the opportunity to be part of Boca Chambers Festival Days and get your photo taken with Sean Connery lookalike John Allen, Palm Beach's very own 007 Sean Connery impersonator, and savor premium libations and culinary delights in only the most covert manner. Please call Jenna at 1-800-9-MARROW. Again, please call Jenna at 1-800-9-MARROW.
Welcome back to The Gift of Life with Gregg, the show that talks about giving and receiving. I'm your co-host, Leora Lieberman, and I'm here with my host, Gregg Francis, and co-host, Barry Kaplan. If you'd like to call into our show, we'd love to hear from you. Please call 888-565-1470. Again, that's 888-565-1470. And now, back to our show.
Friends. All right.
Hello, my name is Barry Kaplan. Welcome back to the Gift of Life with Gregg, WWNN 1470. Thanks everyone for calling in, listening. We're going to continue on with some of our myths, our common myths about bone marrow donation. But first, we have a call. We have a Rand on the line. Rand, are you there?
Hi, Rand.
Hey, how you guys doing? You guys are doing a great job for Gift of Life.
Thank you so much, Rand. Thank you for coming on our show today. Thank you for calling in.
So, how's everything going there today?
Everything's going really well. We're having a...
No, we're having a blast. You know, we came through a couple of snafus, but we're getting there. We're getting there. How are you, Rand?
Awesome, yeah. I just got out of a meeting, but I talked the last 25 minutes of the show. You guys are doing great. You guys are doing great for young kids and prolonging their life and doing awesome things.
I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. Where are you from?
Coral Springs, Florida.
All right, you're local. If you ever want to take a tour of our office, we're right on Yamato Road, 800 Yamato Road. So you're local to us, so feel free to, at any time of your convenience, to come on by.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you so much, Rand, for coming on our show.
You're welcome. I missed some of the things, how you get involved, and some other things, maybe how to donate if you guys have like a thing online or...
Sure. So we actually have a few ways. We're very conducive here at Gift of Life. We have a lot of different ways that you can donate. So if you are near a computer and you'd like to donate on the internet, you can go to www.giftoflife.org/DC/the show, and you can donate right to we have our own donor circle, so you can donate right to our show, and you just click the little red button that says give on the upper right hand corner of the page, and it will take you right there to donate. So it's really quick, really simple, very modern if you're interested in the internet, or if you'd like to just send a check in the mail or send something in the mail, you can send us something via snail mail to 800 Yamato Road, Suite 101, attention the show, and it will come right to us, and we'd be thankful for anything that you can donate. So we'd be so thankful.
And you know what? You're close enough where you could drive over and see the facilities.
Yeah, sounds awesome. I might do that, young fella.
Alrighty.
He sounds like a wonderful child. He sounds like a awesome little girl.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. We're going over tomorrow to visit her, and we're going to do everything in our power to try to find her a match and let her live a fruitful, healthy life. So she doesn't have to think about her illness. She could go play with her chickens, sing her Katy Perry songs, and just have a lot of fun.
Now, can you follow her on Facebook or anything like that to see how she's doing or how she's progressing or anything like that?
That's a great question. We're actually going to have updates on our Facebook page. Just Gift of Life. If you just type that into the search bar on Facebook, you can see her updates on our Facebook page, and we'll definitely have an update tomorrow after we visit her, and on our website as well. We're going to have photos of her, and we're starting, a huge plan of action for her. So we're going to have a lot of things on our own website at www.giftoflife.org, but also on our Facebook page. So
what's our Facebook page?
Our Facebook page is, so if you go to www.facebook.com and you type into the search bar Gift of of Life Bone Marrow Foundation, and it will be right there. You can't miss it. A little red drop of blood is our symbol, and you'll see it right there. So that's us.
Oh, awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
No. Thanks for the call, and thanks for getting involved. I believe we have another caller on the line.
We do. Thanks again for calling, Rand. Marcy is our next caller. Marcy, you're on the air.
Hi there.
Hi, Marcy.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
How are you today, Marcy? What are you up to? Thank you for calling in.
Thank you. I'm actually at work.
Oh, where do you work?
We won't tell anyone. If she can't talk to her in work, but we won't tell anybody. Welcome to the show.
Right. Thank you.
So thank you for calling. How can we help you today, Marcy?
Well, I was calling to answer the question.
Oh.
The trivia question.
It's the Aston Martin, is that right?
We'll take it, the Aston Martin.
The Aston Martin. So out of 223 phone calls to get a ticket to this event on the 9th, what we're going to do is speak to Ken on the other side of the glass, and he'll take down your information.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No, congratulations, and we'll see you. I'll be there Saturday as well, so I'm looking forward to meeting you. And what's your name, if you could say it?
Marcy.
Marcy, all right, we'll keep it clandestine at work. We have to keep it in the Bond theme. So,
only covert things.
Covert at work, and we'll meet you on Saturday. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marcy.
And there you have it, the winner of our trivia, Marcy. Marcy won our trivia. Wouldn't believe that one. So let's move on. We were talking earlier about some of the common misconceptions with donating bone marrow. The first myth was that it's extremely painful. And Gregg talked with us about this one time that he broke his toe and had to play through the game with a broken toe. And since you're a striker, Gregg, and quite an enthusiastic striker at that, I can imagine it was a painful ordeal, to say the least.
I put it out of my head at the end of the game. Yeah, I was in pain. I did score a goal that night, but at the end, during that time, I put it out of my head, and we had to just go forward, play the game.
Oh, that's great. All right. So Leora, why don't we move on? What's the next myth?
So the next myth is that donating bone marrow is very painful, which, again, the first time I really became involved in Gift of Life was at on my college campus, and people would come up to me and they would say that it was really painful, or that it took a really long
but we already talked about that,
or that it took a really long time. And I would say, it does take a day, depending on how long of a time you're looking at, but it takes a certain amount of time, but it's not that long.
So, Gregg, what is the second myth?
No, well, I wanna circle back to what Leora said real quickly. The two that I hear when I tour is that it's painful and that it takes a significant period of time. But I know that you had a 5-hour ordeal, Barry.
Donating bone marrow it takes about 5 hours. I've been in the hospital for 5 hours before. I can tell you, no one wants to be in a hospital for 5 hours, especially for the reason that I was in there.
Dare I ask what that is?
Okay, here we go. You ever hear of Jello Temptations?
No.
It's a Jello product that mimics chocolate mousse. And Barry one day had way too many Jello Temptations in a short amount of time.
Dondre's laughing on the other side of the glass.
He can't stop laughing. Barry had too many Jello Temptations in a short amount of time, so he had some difficulties using the facilities. To make a long story short, there was a discoloration. I call my father, who's a doctor, and he says, "Barry, that's a really, really big problem. You need to go to the emergency room right now."
Now, how old were you, BK?
16 years old.
Okay.
So, 16-year-old kid stays up one night eating too much Jello cups. I end up in the ER behind a curtain wearing a mock, no underwear. So here we go.
A mock or a smock?
A smock. You're right. A smock.
Smock. Wilson, David Wilson. We'll see. It's semantics we're talking today.
So here we go. 5 hours in the ER. About 45 minutes pass. I'm sitting there waiting. In walks Dr. Gutierrez. Dr. Gutierrez, who's about 230 pounds, 5'4", and wearing very thick spectacles. He's got hands like a dock worker, you know. he's a rough guy.
Oh,
okay.
Gosh.
He says, "Hey Barry, what's the problem?" I explained to him what happened, and he says, "Well, we're gonna have to take a sample." so Dr. Gutierrez, he's like a magician. He pulls out this like foot-long Q-tip out of nowhere. I'm thinking, oh God, here we go. so
I'm sorry.
So let's just say 4 hours and 10 samples later, Dr. Gutierrez had what he needed. 5 hours in the ER. It turns out that I had some bad Pepto-Bismol.
You mean it expired?
It expired Pepto-Bismol from Walgreens, and I had to get a colonoscopy. I had to go through the whole 9 yards. For those who've had a colonoscopy before, I did not drink the liquid. I took the pills. Either way, it's no fun. I can say I was on the toilet as long as I was in the ER for. So it was a nightmare. But I guarantee you that donating bone marrow is nothing near that close to that experience.
But as a PSA for those that need to get your annual colonoscopy, go ahead and do it. We don't want to dissuade you for doing that. I'm sorry at 16 years old that you had a rough experience, but being in the health industry, we want to make sure that everybody's healthy.
You know what, Greg? It wasn't rough. They put me out. I just woke up a couple hours later with my mom. She had McDonald's. She was loving me, kissing me, making sure I was okay. It was as if nothing happened.
So what do you tell our listeners to check their Pepto-Bismol for expiration date?
2 things. Firstly, that bone marrow donation does not take that long, and it is not that much of an ordeal. The second thing is, please, please, please check the expiration date of your Pepto-Bismol. Please do that for me.
Will do. Next time I will check that pink Pepto-Bismol. So our last myth.
What's the last myth?
The last myth. So number 3. Third time's a charm. So our last myth is that you don't get the bone marrow back. So I don't think that that's necessarily true at all. So I'll tell you a story about not getting some...
Before you get to your story, I just want to be clear. The myth is that when you donate bone marrow, that material is not replaced in your body.
Right. So that's actually not true. So actually, all the time, every single day, our body's making new cells. So our stem cells, which are found in our bone marrow, they're constantly making new cells every day. So even if you donate bone marrow, and even if it takes those 4 to 5 hours that we were talking about before, your body will constantly recreate the bone marrow. And if you're a donor, within no time at all, you'll have exactly the same amount of stem cells as you had before you donated.
So this isn't like giving a kidney where they take an organ out of my body and that's it, game over.
No, not at all, not at all. Imagine, every single day your body's making new cells. They're making new blood cells. They're making new heart cells. They're making new everything. So don't worry at all. You'll get those cells back. Don't worry.
So, yeah, I think you have a funny story of something that you didn't think that you were going to get back, but you got back.
I did. So it was actually, and I don't mean to sound over dramatic, but on my prom, so I was 18 years old on the night of my prom, a few hours before. Every girl likes to get her makeup done, likes to, get her dress all perfect. So I was actually in that line of processes. I was getting
your hair done, right? Because
I was getting my hair done.
That's the big ticket item.
That was the big ticket item. That's the most important. So I was getting my hair done, and for people who know me, I'm not the best at saying no. So the woman was like, "Oh, I have this great idea for your hair," and I was like, "Okay, I guess so." So
you're not going to tell her no. That's not who you are.
So I felt bad. So I was like, "Okay." And as she's telling me that, I see inches and inches being cut off my hair.
God.
And for anyone who knows me, my hair is it's one of my favorite things. I love my hair. So I was hysterical. I was crying for 4 hours afterwards, and I thought I would never get my hair back. But you know what? Today, here it is. So
just like hair, your bone marrow grows back.
It does. It grows back.
And you want to know something? Flash it again for the camera.
Hey.
All right. The hair grew back. Everybody, we want to thank you for joining our show today. We want to thank the people that called in. Again, if you want to get involved, it's 1-800-9-MARROW or 1-800-962-7769. If you want to visit our website, it's www.giftoflife.org. And you want to know something? Do not forget the little gifts of life that we have. We'll be on next week with a special hockey player. We're going a little bit off course, but I think this guy won some Stanley Cups. So we look forward to seeing you next week. Everybody have a great week and God bless.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to The Gift of